on every factor. I gave GMAT with the best of my abilities and got a 735, which is a 100 percentile score. And I believe that was also a differentiator in my profile. But apart from that, I made sure that we can highlight my unique aspects about my work experience as well. I got a merit scholarship, so just preparing to the best of your abilities, you will you don't have to do anything specific for a scholarship. Just preparing the best of your application is enough. They will already consider you for a merit scholarship. And the most important thing is to be honest in your application. I found ISB to be the perfect intersection, that it's a global B school with an Indian focus, and it's the number one B school in India as well. So that also helps. So I found ISB to be the sweet spot for all the things that I needed. He gave me an Excel sheet and to fill. It really helped to structure my thoughts and structure my stories, that how can I pick instances from my work experience, as well as words might seem a lot, but the first draft I wrote was of 1,000 words, even more than 1,000 words. So that part was really that's where the ISB mantra roles mainly highlighted, that which stories to pick and how to properly, even within the stories, which aspects to pick and how to present it in the best manner. That was the best thing that I don't think I could have done on my own. I was realizing as I was giving the mock interview that this is going very terribly. But yes, Vikram sir was very helpful, that he highlighted which points do I need to work on.
Congratulations, Paras. Your admission to ISB is special, not because you are a tech profile and you took our service, but you come to ISB with a 25% scholarship. Securing an admit to ISB is extremely rare, and to come up to ISB with a 25% scholarship is even more. On this note, ISB Mantra is looking forward to understand your strategies, your journey, and how you planned your application and interview preparation. This will help all the future ISB aspirants in their journey to ISB. On this note, we would like to begin our conversation. Congratulations once again, Paras.
Yes, thank you so much for the kind words, Khushbu. I remember when I first reached out to you with a query that I have a tech profile and I really wanted a scholarship with an admit. So how can I improve my chances? And then took help of you in both essays and the interview prep. And yeah, it's I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I've got. Thank you.
And on this note, I really look back to your query, how you reached out. And to all those who are listening to this video, Paras has mentioned in his query that, I'm getting goosebumps to, actually tell that, but it is actually where he said to us that he wants to get his profile evaluated. And he was like, what are the chances of scholarship for me? And when we look back to that, so he somewhere you already had this in mind that you want to go to ISB with a scholarship, and here you are, Paras. Glad to see that, Paras. Okay, so we'll start with our question. So Paras is a tech professional, and securing tech professionals are the most competitive pool, and they are often worried that they will get an admit, but you get an admit with a scholarship. So what do you think worked in your favor? What is the approach that you have put in your application? What do you want to tell us about your tech profile with a 25% scholarship to, sum it up?
Yes, so I was really scared as a tech professional because I know that they are the largest among the applicant pool. So I went all the way in all the aspects, be it GMAT score, be it essays, interview prep. I tried my best to make everything perfect, because I have heard some of the very horror stories that a really good profile got rejected because really good tech profiles got rejected from ISP. So I really wanted to make all in. So I improved on every factor. I gave GMAT with the best of my abilities and got a 735, which is a 100 percentile score. And I believe that was also a differentiator in my profile. But apart from that, I made sure that we can highlight my unique aspects about my work experience as well, my leadership traits that I have exhibited, and unique projects that I have done, and how I can make my case unique within the engineering profile. Because like there are a lot of engineers with a really high GMAT score as
Right.
well. So I wanted to try that. How can I make myself unique within the engineers? And yeah, that was my strategy.
Okay, so if I have to ask more, what was unique in your tech profile? Because your consultant also mentioned that, oh, Paras has an interesting experience with Make My Trip, and there was one more company, I'm forgetting that.
Yeah, GT.
So yes, so what I mean, if I have to sum it up, what is the extra, like, what is your specific tech experience that you would want to discuss with the aspirants?
Yes, so within the tech, I was fortunate enough to work on some really good companies. In
Mhm.
Make My Trip, my role was very tech heavy, but like I was in a very good team. I was in the post-sales flights team, and I got good exposure and very good projects, with some of the projects being the high stakes as well. One of the projects was actually the barcode project, and we discussed around 15 minutes on that in the interview.
Okay.
So I was really fortunate to have a good experience. And after Make My Trip, I switched to a startup, TRGT Digital.
Mhm.
There I had much more ownership and much more accountability, and I worked much more on the deeper level of projects. So I had a unique aspect that I have worked both in B2B and B2C company.
Mhm.
TRGT was B2B and Make My Trip was B2C, and I've worked in both big scale and small scale projects. And both in I highlighted actually that point also, that in TRGT, as it's a B2B company, I have seen all the domains, that clothing domain and uh, sh- apparel, wearables, and food. Like many of the domains, I have seen that how are they measuring their KPIs and how are they finding it useful. So I highlighted that point as well in my interview. So I think that worked enough in my favor.
Yes, so that is really well, and now we understand. So if you have different companies, if you have worked with B2B, B2C, so it's important that we reflect in a way that the story is aligned. And how you mentioned, like Make My Trip was a B2C company where you reflected your tech experience versus your B2C experience with the TRGT. So yeah, so that's great. And so you also mentioned that your score, the GMAT score, also helped you with your scholarship, and I mean that's considered and that's taken. So Paras comes with a 735 score on the GMAT. So I'm sure everyone would want to understand your strategies to get this score. I mean, it's really difficult to get it. So, what would be your, suggestion, advice to those who are preparing for a GMAT to score a 700, like 15 plus? So, it's yours is 735.
Yes. So I believe that GMAT, like I gave CAT also before that. So I had my base prepared, and I got a 99.5 percentile in CAT as well. So like there was not much to prepare for GMAT due to that. But like the major factor that I struggled with was the verbal score. And like Quant and DI are, if you are prepared for CAT, Quant and DI will be a cakewalk for you in the GMAT. But verbal is much more difficult. So most of the time while preparing for exclusively GMAT, I prepared specifically on verbal. I took the GMAT club membership, the GMAT club forum quiz membership. That was immensely helpful. And I also watched the GMAT Ninja YouTube channel. These were the only two resources I uh, used while preparing for GMAT. And if someone wants to prepare for Quant and DI as well, I think GMAT Ninja is good for that as well. But I think you can, like, you need to have a formula book with you, which you can revise quite frequently, because Quant is majorly based on formulas. And for DI, you just need to do some of practice. If you are good with verbal and with quant, just some practice in DI will do, because it's just a mix of both with some graphs.
Right. So, so your intake is for sure take a membership to the GMAT club, right?
Yes,
And
definitely.
understand where you need more preparation. So in your case, as you mentioned that you are already, you were very good with CAT and you scored a 99 percentile. So you knew your quant is good to go. So you worked on your verbal. So identifying which area you need more preparation will help. And also you mentioned about GMAT Ninja. So I mean that's wonderful. Like, these are small bits that you have used in a very effective way. I'm sure if those who are preparing for GMAT, and if you also work on what Paras has just mentioned, will help you score a desired score. Thank you, Paras. Thank you so much. So now, so what inspired you to pursue an MBA, and why did you choose ISB?
I wanted to do MBA to increase my domain specifically, because I am working in a tech heavy role, and I was very interested in the decision making process that goes behind the scenes. As a tech, I mostly got the requirements that we have to work on, and many times I was very interested in how these requirements are made and how are they planning to make the product better. So I wanted to move more into that side, and I actually I actively participated in discussion wherever was possible, that I can see that how they're making decisions and if I can pitch in my own inputs as well. So that inspired me to do an MBA. And also the fact that MBA opens many doors for you in the future. You will always have an edge in the future if you want to climb up the corporate ladder, or even if you want to do your own startup. An MBA is always useful. And I was actually in a dilemma that whether to do in from India or from abroad. And I found ISB to be the perfect intersection, that it's a global B school with an Indian focus, and it's the number one B school in India as well. So that also helps. So I found ISB to be the sweet spot for all the things that I needed. So hence I decided to go for ISB. In fact, it was the only school that I applied in this year,
Wow.
that I wanted to put my cards in for ISB only.
Yeah, yeah, and that was very well understood. The very first email that we have received, no other schools, only ISB, and that too with scholarship chances. So we are glad, and I'm sure ISB is also, glad that ISB was your only option. You didn't look for any other schools. You get what you want at ISB, and why to choose any other school when you get global learning at ISB? Perfect. So let's understand professional challenge that helped you grow and demonstrate leadership during your career.
One professional challenge, I would take an example for the recent project that I worked in my current company. It was as it's a small team in my company. We are just five team members in the tech team. So each person almost handles the complete project within itself. So I handle the project benchmarking, and the challenging part was that I had to I had to make sure that everything that I'm working on is in sync with the requirements, and the product team understands it as well, and uh, to make sure the implementation part as well, and the deciding part, that what database do we have to use and what code do we have to use, what architecture, everything. So it was a good learning opportunity as well, that I worked from end to end. I was there when we were deciding requirements, and I worked on some database level, that which database can we choose, how to make it faster, and how do we implement the code. So that was a very interesting challenge. And there was no one under me, so there was no leadership attributed to it. But I think the leadership part that we can highlight is that I handled the whole project, almost everything on my own. My manager also helped me as well. He was very helpful. But I volunteered to do as much as I can, so I can have more accountability. And it's some sort of mental pressure on you when you have more accountability. You always try to give your very best. So I volunteered to like do everything on my own. So I think that helped me grow a lot in this company. So
Yes, and you reflected this in your application. So the challenge what comes to a consultant is to bring out a leadership story from an applicant, and this is one of the reasons why your story was different. You actually demonstrated really well on how you have leaded that project in the mentorship of your manager. That's great, Paras. Now, coming to the the question on. So you took our ISB Mantras service for your application and for your interview journey. What do you think? One, two, and three. Part of the service helped you to get to this position.
yes, so I think I used ASV mantra in every aspect. Like I contacted Vikram sir for the very first profile evaluation call, and for the SC service and as well as the interview service. So yes, I was a little apprehensive about the cost because it's a big investment, but I think scholarship more than enough covers for that. So but ISB Mantra was really helpful, especially like when I first took the SC services, and Gotham sir, he was my consultant. He gave me an Excel sheet and to fill. It really like helped to structure my thoughts and structure my stories. That how can I pick instances from my work experience as well as academics and everything, and how to structure them. It really helps when like your mind is filled with a lot of raw data for all the instances, and you want to highlight everything that this is the great part, this is the great part. But as we mantra was helpful in structuring those thoughts in the Excel sheet that he gave me. And also, apart from the Excel sheet itself, he really, the Gotham sir, he listened to all my stories, and he helped me that which story I can highlight in which part of my essay. That was immensely helpful. Otherwise, I was like, it's a really short word limit. 400 words might seem a lot, but the first draft I wrote was of 1,000 words, even more than 1,000 words. So that part was really like that's where the ISB mantra roles mainly highlighted, that how which stories to pick and how to properly, even within the stories, which aspects to pick and how to present it in the best manner. That was the best thing that like I don't think I could have done on my own in the essay. And in the interview as well, I think it was even better in the interview. In the very first call with Vikram sir, before the first call, I was watching a lot of interview experiences and a lot of videos. And in my mind, I was imagining my own interview. And I was thinking that, oh, I'm going to nail it in the very first interview. But when it actually came to the first mock interview, it was an eye opener. I was not able to put anything in any structured way. I was hesitating a lot. I was blabbering a lot. And like I was realizing as I was giving the mock interview that this is going very terribly. But yes, so Vikram sir was very helpful, that he highlighted which points do I need to work on. He highlighted the good things as well, that I don't think I like after giving the first mock, I was thinking that everything went terribly, but Vikram sir highlighted the good points as well that I can keep continuing, and the bad points, like the constructive point that I need to work on, and what do I need to study, and how can I, like I have already researched about my school because I was applying, and I had already filled my essays, but I was not putting the research in any of my answers. I was waiting for them to ask the questions to about the school, and then I can answer. But most of the time in interviews, they will not ask specific questions about ISB. You have to incorporate your research in your answers so that it reflects that you are thinking it in your evaluation as well, not when specifically asked about ISB. So first interview highlighted all those important points, and I tried to incorporate my best in the subsequent interviews. And by the last interview, I think like I was not yet feeling very ready, but I had much more confidence, and I had like much more experience with the mock interview, and with the real interview, I didn't feel nervous at all. I most of the like all the questions were almost all the questions were different in the real interview, but they were along the same lines and shared uh, a same plate of questions. Like structuring was very similar. I had to give with similar answers, so it was much more easy in the real interview.
That's
So yeah,
wonderful. That's so good to
yes.
hear your story, Paras. And you won't believe the students, those who come to us while they come for the first profile evaluation, they are so confident that, no, I have done a lot of things, and it's just that I want to understand what is my best story. And then when we tell them that it is very important that you note down and discuss all your stories, because the more you participate, the better set of essays is that you get, the best better set of stories is your consultant is able to understand from your profile. And like how you mentioned that you had a 1,000 word story, so the credit goes to you because you were actually thinking about your story. You were actually working on what feedback your consultant is giving, and you were actually working on your application. So that's how it is. So you have to have your story and you have to work on your application. So one side, we are there to help you in your entire journey, but at the same time we also communicate that it's your story. You have to write your essays. We will not write your essays. You have to give us your draft, and that's how it is. So it's wonderful to see that you actually did it well. Coming to the interview prep, so Vikram is the most difficult person for the mock interviews, because his position is like that he has to make it difficult, not to embarrass you, but to give you a bigger picture. Because only when you understand your gray areas is when you actually work on how to improve your gray areas. So it's wonderful that you actually worked on those parameters. And as you mentioned, though the questions were totally different, but the thing is you had an approach, the approach that if there is any question, you know how you want to answer it. You know that okay, these are the ISB things that you want to mention in your interview. These are the good part from your application, that somewhere you want to build up a story and put it up front to the interviewer. So everything worked in your favor, and everything worked for us, that we were able to help you along your application and interview journey. So now, since you already have an admit, what are you looking forward at ISB? The academics, the clubs, or the peer network? What are you most excited about joining to ISB?
Yeah, I am excited about a little bit of everything because it's a 1 year journey, and I have talked to LMs and they've said that you will want to use every part of the ISP and make sure that you are having the full experience. And but the most interesting part is I have found is the academics, that there is a lot of visiting faculty and from the abroad. So it's like going to an India school with an international education, and also the fact that it's very flexible. The curriculum is very flexible and dynamic, and it changes every year, and professors can themselves decide that what best to teach the students. And they like this dynamic thing about ISB, and the fact that it has dedicated clubs for every career path you can take on. So for example, I want to move into product management, and they have a dedicated club, business technology club, that like-minded people can join. And also like the fact that it has a very diverse peer group. So I think I lack a lot on the commerce education, like on the finance and accounting thing. So that will be already covered in the academic section. But to have peers who are already a master in this, the informal discussions that we have, the experience that they bring from their own work experience, that like all these consolidated in one place, we can't find anywhere else. So mainly academics and peer network, these are the things I'm excited most about.
And how do you see that? Because your long-term goal is product management, and you have like mentioned that your academic and the peer network will help you achieve that. So how do you see yourself, like the baby step towards your project management role?
Mm. Yeah, product for the product management, I'm first like I'm thinking that I can learn a little bit of basics before joining ISB, so that because I know that it's a very hectic curriculum and you won't have much time to even understand what's coming at you. So I'm deciding to do a little bit of education about that, like mini courses, or I've already done some mini courses because I was interested in the field, but dive a little bit deeper on this subject and the subject that I specifically lack on, so that it's a bit like I'm already a bit familiar with them. And yeah, rest, I think you can't plan everything before going to the college. I know that a lot of things will change. I will like my plans can change, and like by plans I mean that how my approach towards learning can change. So I'm keeping my doors open and not putting too much in a tunnel, like not I'm not putting myself too much in a tunnel view. So yeah, I'll just explore a bit about the college, its academics, and rest keeping my options open.
Perfect. I see you are excited and you are open about to accept whatever comes in, and you have a clarity on a bigger picture, like how you mentioned the peer network and the studies, the short courses and everything. Glad. So now, so last question, what would be your key advice to the future aspirants to not only get into an ISB but also to secure a scholarship to ISB?
I got a merit scholarship, so just preparing to the best of your abilities, you will like you don't have to do anything specific for a scholarship. Just preparing the best of your application is enough. They will already consider you for a merit scholarship. And the most important thing is to be honest in your application. Like you shouldn't fake any stories or even exaggerate any stories, because although the interview was not grilling, it was a lot. There was a lot of cross questioning, and if you have exaggerated even a little bit or have made up any stories, they will catch you. So honest about every story you put in, because like you will yourself feel more confident while telling about it. Your excitement will be more when the stories are good and true to your actual abilities. So that's the most important thing. And another thing is that you should always practice giving answers either in a mock interview or in front of the mirror or just writing itself down, because you may be thinking that I have all the points in my head, but when it actually comes to answer, when you actually have to structure on the spot, that's where the struggle comes in. So it's very important to give some mock interviews to make sure that you are able to put your best points forward in an instant and in a structured way.
Perfect. And to my notice, you are like 90% of our discussion to with those who make an admit to ISB, all of them, they add this that don't fake your application, don't fake about your profile, don't fake about your experience, be authentic, know what you have done. Write it well. One part is that you have to be very thorough with what you want to write. The other aspect is you have to actually write what you have done, because ISB will catch you on whatever if you bluff. And this is something that is very important, that don't fake and don't play with the school, any school, ISB or any other international schools. So be authentic. I mean, you want to pursue an MBA, you want to upgrade yourself. So nothing can take you if you write something that you have not done. And it's not only about getting an interview call. You also want to convert your interview call to an admit. And how, Paras, you have mentioned that, you have to practice on what you have written. So if you write something that you have not done, or whatever practice you do, you will be catch, hold on the interview. So these are two wonderful tips that is very important for all of us who are helping, and all of us those who are preparing for an application. Thank you so much, Paras. Your time with us, with ISB Mantra, truly, truly commendable. We are, we like the entire team, when we got to know that Paras is an admit with a 25% scholarship, there was a celebration in our office. And so we, I mean, it's sad that we cannot show you, or you were not a part of that celebration because you're not in Bangalore. But really, your success is our success. And we, like, the entire team was like, okay, Paras has a 25% scholarship, and that is what our success is. We really want to help ISB aspirants to apply to the school with the right set of stories. We want the ISB aspirants to define their story well, so that the school knows what the applicant has done. A lot of time what happens is a good profile is not presented well, and the school lacks with those good profiles. So we are glad that we helped you in your journey to both application and interview. Congratulations once again. Wish you all the best. Stay in touch, and thank you so much, Paras.
Yes. Thank you so much for the support throughout and helping in every step of my way. I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paras. Means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.